I'm giving you guys my week 12 picks and also some fantasy advice at the end of the video, including some buy low and sell high candidates and some waiver wire pickups as well. But let's go ahead and get started off with this week's pick. Thursday Night Football, we have an AFC North rivalry game between the Steelers and the Browns, and I'm going to go ahead and pick the Steelers. Besides for the top 2 or 3 teams, they've been looking like one of the best, the dark horse Super Bowl contender. Obviously, the Browns are not that great. I don't think anybody's really surprised there. The Kansas City Chiefs versus my Carolina Panthers. I'm not going to lie, I love all the edits that Bryce Young is getting on TikTok about their beating the Chiefs or whatever, but honestly, I don't see it. One thing we're really good at on offense is running the ball, and the Chiefs are really good at stopping the run. So if we can't run the ball, I don't see like any opportunity that we could get this win. So go ahead and give me the Chiefs. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the New York Giants, and Daniel Jones is not starting in this game. He's actually the quarterback 3 now. Tommy DeVito will be starting up, and go ahead and give me the Buccaneers. A lot of these games are like very easy to predict, except for maybe like 2 or 3. Cowboys and Commanders. Cowboys look absolutely terrible in Monday Night Football. The offense couldn't get going. Couldn't stop Joe Mixon to save their life. So I'm expecting Brian Robinson to have a big game, and maybe Jaden Daniels gets back in the running game as well. Go ahead and give me the Commanders here. And we have the Patriots and Dolphins, and the Dolphins offense is looking officially back. Tua is back off of IR. Go ahead and give me the Dolphins. The Patriots have been looking decent, but I mean, that's the Dolphins. Go ahead and give me them. We have the Titans and Texans. Now, let me tell you guys what, I don't think the Texans are as good as everybody thought that they were going to be. CJ Stroud isn't looking anywhere close to what he was last season. The defense honestly isn't that great neither. I could see this being a trap game for the Texans, but I don't feel 100% confident in that for me to take the Titans, so go ahead and give me the Texans. We have the Lions at Colts, and obviously go ahead and give me the Lions. They're looking like the best team in the NFL right now. That offense is very dangerous. I wouldn't be surprised if they put up another 40-point game, or maybe even 50 at this point. We have the Vikings and Bears, and the Bears were actually so close to beating the Packers, literally a blocked field goal away from getting a huge win. Then you have the Minnesota Vikings, who have a really good record, but honestly, they haven't been looking the best, especially since it's a division game. But once again, I don't feel confident enough in it, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Vikings. The Broncos or the Raiders. Bo Nix is looking like one of the best quarterbacks out of the draft right now. And the defense is rolling as well as it's the Raiders. So up to this point, most of these games is like very heavily leaning one side. Final 4 is where it's going to get very interesting, because I don't know who really I'm going to pick for any of these. I'm going back and forth on them. The first one is going to be the 49ers at the Green Bay Packers. Either of these teams are looking very up to par, but I will have to admit that the Green Bay Packers are looking better, and they have a better record as well. So even though that Jordan Love is turning the ball over a lot, and if he turns the ball over a couple times in this game, and that could be a factor of why they lose, go ahead and give me the Packers, especially with it being in Green Bay. And our second tough game is Cardinals versus Seahawks. Both of these are fighting for the first place in the NFC West division. Seahawks got a huge big time win versus 49ers last week. I just think that the Cardinals are more consistent than the Seahawks, so go ahead and give me the Cardinals. I trust in them more right now. In Sunday Night Football, we have the Eagles at the Rams. Like, the Eagles are looking officially back. They have been looking really good and have won their past, what, like 5 or 6 games in a row. They haven't been against the best opponents besides for the Commanders last week. And then the Rams are kind of looking back. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know who to go here. I'm officially going to pick the Rams, I think. Monday Night Football, we have 2 great quarterbacks going up against each other. Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Chargers versus Ravens. Could low-key see this being a very, very close, a tough, low-scoring game. But at the same time, with the Ravens losing last week, I just don't think that's going to happen 2 weeks in a row. So go ahead and give me the Ravens on Monday Night Football. Now time for some fantasy advice. Let's go ahead and get started off with my waiver wire pickup list. I didn't mean to do this at all, but all 4 of these players actually played in the same game last week. The first one is going to be Jameis Winston. I don't know how many of y'all actually need a starting quarterback this late in the season, but if you do, Jameis Winston is a viable option. 3 starts now, and in 2 of those starts, he had more than 20 points, so that is a plenty enough. Next, we have a Browns wide receiver, Elijah Moore. Now, we knew when Jameis Winston was starting in this lineup instead of Deshaun Watson that a lot of these wide receivers and the tight ends and running backs and pretty much everybody in the offense, point production was going to go up significantly. Well, honestly, Elijah Moore was not one of those players that I was looking at, but he is honestly looking very good. Jameis Winston filled in for Deshaun Watson. He's had 16.5 points in one game, and then this past week he had 18.6. I love the pickup of him. Our first player on the Saints is going to be MVS, aka Marquez Valdes-Scantling. I told you guys to pick him up last week, but a lot of people didn't. If he's still available in your league, go ahead and pick him up. Chris Olave is going to at least miss 2 more games. Chi-Chi is going to be out for the rest of the season, so they're going to have to throw to somebody. And Marquez Valdes-Scantling is the main one that they're throwing to since those 2 are out. And also, when Chris Olave does come back, he should still be the deep threat. In our last pick pickup is going to be Taysom Hill. Now, to be honest, I don't know if I would start him just because he's so up and down. But then again, he just dropped like almost a 40-point game. If he's available in your waiver wire, you can't just pass up on somebody that just dropped a 40-point game. I'll go ahead and pick him up. If you want to start him or not, depends on who else you have on your roster. Now we have my buy low and sell high candidates. Our first buy low is going to be Jakobi Meyers. I think this is actually going under a lot of people's radar, but the past 2 weeks before last, he has actually been looking very good since Davante Adams has left that offense now. Didn't do the best last week. Hopefully that'll push him under people's radar even more. Hopefully you can just scoop him up for not much. Our second buy low is Garrett Wilson. Didn't have the greatest weekend last week, but we obviously know that he can be great. He's just so up and down. A lot of people are probably not going to ask much for him. If you don't want him on your team, I don't blame you, because I don't really like those players that have really good games but really bad ones as well, because you never know when to start him or sit him. Our sell high candidates, at first it's going to be Jameson Williams. I'm not going to lie, I actually love J-Mo because he does have some really good weeks, but at the same time, he has some low weeks as well. Just had a really good game, so I might sell him while his stock is at an all-time high right now. Then we also have J.K. Dobbins. Now, don't get me wrong, J.K. Dobbins has been one of the most surprising fantasy running backs of this year so far, and I don't mind if you want to keep him, but also looking at his schedule coming up, all these opponents I'm about to name off basically top in given the least amount of fantasy points per game to running back. Ravens, the Falcons, the Chiefs, and then the Broncos. So while he's doing a really good job now, I don't mind trading him away. Now, once again, if you don't really want to because you feel confident in him, I don't mind keeping him whatsoever. But that's my weekly picks of waiver wire pickups and buy low, sell high candidates. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll check you guys out next time. Peace.